Good morning, Mr. Reinier Russell. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to talk to you today for this interview for our magazine VIP, special edition for our magazine. Thank you very much. Today we are going to talk about your business as entrepreneur, actually as businessman. So please, would you like to share, what do you do now as businessman? About your company?
The Russell Advocaten is a law firm in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. We exist for nearly 80 years now, and we service international business on the Dutch market. So foreign entrepreneurs having their subsidiary here or starting in the Netherlands, having employment here, corporate immigration, we deal with all aspects of foreign investors on the Dutch market.
Oh, that's very good. That means that a lot of people, a lot of readers, can also come to you if they are interested to do business in the Netherlands.
As you know, it's very safe in the Netherlands. Everybody is bilingual. If you walk in a park in Amsterdam, everybody speaks any language of all around the world. People like very much to be here. We have companies, we have one client, 300 personnel, only 2 Dutch persons, and 298 from all over the world.
Oh,
so Netherlands is very international, and we always say it's the gateway to Europe. If you make it here, you make it in Germany and in France and in Portugal and in Spain.
Thank you to share that, because it's of course very important also for also the economy in the Netherlands. We also try to welcome also people here to the Netherlands to do business. So how is to be a successful businessman now here in the Netherlands?
Well, the last 2 years during COVID was challenging, of course. There was less incoming trade, there was less tourism, and expats here couldn't travel to their families abroad. That was very harsh for them. Dutch government did a lot to help businesses with financial subsidies, but still, we are very much internationally focused, and that was more difficult. But we see now, although there's a war going on, that again people are coming to the Netherlands, are investing in the Netherlands, and they feel that it's a safe haven.
Yes, that is. I totally agree also with you. You're telling now about how many cultures they have. How do you handle the cultural gaps? Can you give probably some examples of how you handle these gaps, cultural gaps?
Well, first of all, language is a very important thing. Some countries want a lawyer that speaks their language. We do think speaking the language is not so much the binding thing. We have to understand somebody's business, and we know our client's business, whether we act for an embassy, for an airline, or for a local producer. We don't mind, but we must understand the circumstances in the company. Finally, you have to go to court, and the judge sees 3 or 4 parties on a day, and you have to explain to a judge what is going on, what are the specific circumstances, and why being late in your international delivery, for example, why that is so harmful to the business, and why there's damages, and an hour later the judge is doing something completely else. So legally, you first start with the contracts, with the facts, establishing the facts, but also the facts and the circumstances of the case. That is why we visit our clients, we go to our clients, we want to understand their business.
And that's something that actually is more focus of the business, not really focus of the culture of a person. Actually, it's not very.
Of course, dealing with your clients, you have to serve their needs, and they need their respect. But finally, we are dealing here with Dutch law, Dutch courts, Dutch judges, and we know our way in the legal system, but that starts with facts. So every case starts with fact-finding, and the facts are based on what is going on within the company. And if you have a client with offices, white-collar workers, it's completely different than when you're working for a factory with blue-collar workers. They are more rough, different circumstances. So what in the one circumstance is possible is not possible in the other circumstance.
It's lovely. And for example, probably can you give us a few examples of different, probably complex situations that probably, and how did you handle, probably, of course, from the law, but at the same time from the soft diplomacy. There is also a space for soft diplomacy in this case, or there is not really space for it?
It is not always the best way to knock on somebody's door and make a demand. Maybe it is easier to first talk to somebody, sit around the table. In the past, we always used to go to court, and since a few years, we have a new instrument, it's called mediation. Sitting around a round table, discussing the one party, the other party's needs, and how can we combine these needs. Doesn't it work? You still can go to court, you can still knock on the door, you can still see somebody's assets, but that is not, that also makes the other party very afraid, or they want to extra fight, and that is maybe not always the best route. So first start with a talk,
Yes.
or a simple demand letter.
Okay, yes, I understand. Because also, well, in the protocol today, we learn more, actually the soft diplomacy, but of course the hard diplomacy is always, has to be a balance on this.
Yes, and you don't want to destroy business, and that somebody for now is not able to pay will not automatically say that we never can do business anymore. Our clients, they want to be in business still, so if we retrieve the money for them, a debt collection for example, and they lose the customer, then they are not happy with us. So keeping the customer, retrieving the money, and with soft diplomacy you can
Mediation.
Yeah. You can deal with that.
Yeah.
Long-standing relationships, you can break them in an hour, but our clients want to maintain their long-standing relationships.
Yes, a long-term relationships. That's actually what a lot of people and businessmen, of course, they are also looking for these people to find the trust, to people who is working honestly, who is working well in the law of the country and all this.
So there are many different aspects you have to take into account. So the language, where does somebody come from, the regional problems, the local problems here, the interests of not only our client, but the opposite party's interest. And sometimes you can make an agreement which serves everybody's needs, and then the payment comes later for our client, but in the end he gets his payment, and they can still conduct business together.
So you are also part of the business corp of consulate here in Netherlands.
Yes.
Would you like to share us about also what did you do in this case? In this part of...
I am Honorary Consul of Brazil for nearly 30 years now. I help Brazilians who get in trouble in the Netherlands. That can be that you lose your wallet, your tickets, your passport. It could mean that you come in jail or whatever problems. We do economical promotion, trade promotion, cultural promotion. Nowadays, tourism is rising again. Last 2 years it was a little bit less, but it is always nice that somebody locally comes to you and helps you when you come into trouble. And I always think if I were in trouble somewhere in Brazil and a Dutch consul would help me, I would be very glad. Also,
yes. I got the book of all the history of
there's
the
Corps
Honorary
Consulaire
Consul.
Netherlands. I'm chair of the Corps Consulaire Netherlands, 140 consuls together. Last year, the Corps Consulaire Netherlands existed for 25 years, and for this jubilee, we made a beautiful book with 25 interviews with consuls from all around the world, because every country, every consul brings in his own network, and every country has specific needs and a different story. And it was very nice to read from 25 colleagues what transpired through their consular years. And I can tell you, these are magnificent stories.
Yes, and that's so beautiful to read, because it's different stories, different challenge, and well, I think it's also a very important part who people can also see a little bit what's also the life of a consul.
Yeah.
Yes, because I think a lot of people think, oh, it's a very nice job, it's a good job, but at the same time, it's of course
hard work. You
yes.
can never plan it, and in that aspect, I compare it with my legal profession. There's now a problem, and you cannot say, well, I'm going on holidays, call me next week. No, the problem has to be resolved today or tomorrow, so you have to empty your agenda, you have to start working on it, and you need a very well connected network, and starting to phone people when the problem has arisen, that's too late. You have to make the connections already before the problems arise, and you never know what the problem will be. It can be with the police, it can be with the immigration services, it can be, but it's always in a hurry, it has to be done quickly.
Yes. Quickly, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that, yes. So we have a lot of young diplomats and young business people in our team, and also as also writers. Would you like to give a few advice to these young people? Probably they are or starting, or they are already a few years in their business. We know also has been a little bit difficult times, but could you give them a few advice how could they business handle as businessmen?
Yeah. Facts. We always go back to the facts. When we, not only for young entrepreneurs, but if entrepreneurs come to us, solve my problem. don't look in all the contracts, but solve it. But we have to go back to the contract. So if you set up your own business, make a good, at the beginning of your business, make good labor contracts, make good IP contracts, depends on your business. General terms, set up your business in the right way, spend your money wisely to build it up from the beginning in an orderly manner. That will pay out later when problems arise, that you have already got the umbrella. When it starts raining, you need the umbrella, and you should not buy an umbrella when it starts to rain. Do it at the beginning, and then the setup of your business is okay. Then the setup of your works council with your employees, with your customers, with your joint partners. And that is investigating what do I want, what does the other want, that's negotiation. It's not always what you want yourself. Nowadays, the employment market is very strict. Getting employment from abroad, corporate immigration, that takes a few months. But setting it up from the beginning, know which path you want to go. What business do I want? What business do I not want? If the counterparty doesn't accept my terms and conditions, do I still do business? Do I want to turn over? Or do I want to be safeguarded? Depends on your product very much also.
And that's something that also ethics in business is
ethics. Ethics is of course very important. In England you have laws on bribery, so for our international clients we always put bribery. We call it more good governance. Good governance clauses in everything you do is very important. Because ethics, Me Too, discrimination, those are issues nowadays, certainly in the Netherlands, which is on top of our mind. And social media, we advise all our clients to incorporate social media clauses, because media and social media is so powerful weapon nowadays. It used to be the big employer and the small employee, but now the employee has become more powerful due to social media, and even more harmful due to social media. So if you do not want to have the dirty laundry in the street, you have to make social media clauses.
Okay. So that's lovely. Would you like something more to share to our readers today? Something that you would like to add?
Well,
to share?
One of your questions was on global activeness. We think you have to think local, but you have to act global. So we are members of Primerus, 3,000 lawyers in 170 law firms in 40 countries, every state of the US. We think Netherlands is very small, business is very international, so we need partners within 5 or 10 minutes, not only in Switzerland, but in the US, in South Africa, wherever you want, in China or Japan. And with this group of lawyers, we can provide this assistance to our clients. And I think that's the future. Only global players, and you see it through recession, through COVID times, the global players did it well, and the local players suffered a lot.
Thank you very much. And thank you
very
very much for your time. I know you are a very busy person, so thank you very much. I really appreciate this interview.
Thank you very much.